Hello, I am Wallas, the Polish toy guy, and I just remembered that last year I started reviewing the Build Team, an Autobot subgroup from Transformers Robots in Disguise, the first one from 2001, and I think it's actually high time to start continuing this little review series by taking a look at the second member of this team. This time it's the very yellow Heavy Load. And as you can see, Heavy Load transforms into what is called a dump truck. And this dump truck is pulling off an interesting trick where it looks simple and yet it has enough details to appease me. So as you can see, yes, this is really a blocky toy. Actually, it kind of looks like it's purposefully toy-like in its design, not very realistic. Several, shall we say, compromises were made when this toy was designed, and yet it still looks quite fun. We have the cabin, which I think is supposed to be on this side, though if you want you can easily swap it out to this side thanks to the transformation if you prefer, but in my mind this piece was always on this side, and you can also pull it to the center, but that looks kind of odd. And we have some nice details on the side. Wheels with painted rims, that's very nice. And as you can see, this toy rolls on the floor without any problem with this nice sound. And on the back we have some painted lights, some additional details, and very, very easy to notice robot feet. And on the front we have a nicely painted grille and some lights and some other details. And here we have the dump truck bed with an Autobot symbol and a nice tonal change between the front and the back. Some sort of conspicuous teeth that we'll discuss in the robot mode. And let's look on the bottom. Yes, we can see that there's something fishy going on and this is not a straight vehicle toy, but all the robot parts are also hidden in a way that they're not all that obvious. So that's nice. It sparks our curiosity without being too obvious. And what I really like about this mode is that the dump truck can actually lower like this. That's nice, and if we use this grey arm underneath we can actually make it go even higher. And there's not many things that will actually fit considering how shallow this is, but still the fact that we have this mechanism working is quite nice. And if you want, this dump truck can also achieve an attack mode by using a hinge that is over here and spinning all of the top around. And now we can open this up using this spring-loaded hinge to have the dump truck turned into a bear trap. And this looks silly, but at the same time it's kind of cool. And considering the fact that the majority of my Transformers are in robot mode right now, and that I am intending to make full comparisons in the last part of this series, I'm now going to jump ahead and transform Heavy Load into his robot mode. And I will start the transformation process by lifting up the dump bed. This will give us a better look at the bottom of the robot fists and the following forearms, which we can now swing out. And as you can see, they tap into this part with a peg, and when they are over here they unlock the legs so that they can extend backward. And this toy is 16-year-old, and I think for its age the joints are in a great condition, which also can be problematic because some of them are way tighter than the others. And usually the tighter ones are the ones that are used by the robot mode, and the looser ones are those used by the combined form, which will be annoying when we try to pull out the legs without separating or using the hinges for the combined form. But anyway, we extend the legs, and as you can see, these joints used by the combined form are already trying to... yes, they do. This is not used by the robot mode, but it extends anyway because the connection is looser, the joint is looser. But anyway, let's go with it and just extend the legs. And now that they are extended, we can tuck everything back into intended position. Like that, and we can already straighten out the feet. and deploy the heels. And now it seems a bit crowded over here, so let's do something like that. We first can pull out the arms a bit, and this will make it easier for us to actually swing all of this around. So let's do it in two phases. Phase 1, rotate it so that this arm is over here, so that this hole can overlap this hinge. So now that that's done, we can rotate this, overlap the arm with the hinge, and now we can swing this into its position, open up this flap to deploy the head right here, and we can push down the fists, and with that done, Heavy Loads robot mode is complete. And personally I think the robot mode is simple yet charming. It's definitely not as posable or as detailed, stylized as the Generations toys or the movie toys, but it's not as blocky as Transformers Armada toys. It's its own flavor of fun, and considering the hidden depths of the combined mode, this, I think, works. As you can see, again, very yellow with a bit more grey exposed right now. Not all that many details that we haven't seen before, although we do have some new additions from the exposed robot parts here and here. And I really like the double-colored fists with something that looks like knuckle dusters. Well, considering this is a construction worker robot, that makes sense that he wants to clear something out of his way. And we have some bits that are visible once we take this out of the way. And I think the dump bed works here. Without it, the back would be kind of hollow, kind of just there. But with this, I think it may act as a backpack to some, but I think it does create part of the charm of the robot mode, especially that we can detach and use it later on as something else than just a backpack. Definitely my favorite part of this robot mode is its head. This is some kind of helmet, perhaps with safety headphones on them, and we have this excellent silver painted red visored face. This looks like a mechanized version of the engineer from Team Fortress 2. A smart, confident guy who knows what he's doing, whether it's combat or construction. I really like this feel. This may be my favorite head from the entire set of Build Team. Really looks great. And now let's take a look at the posability, which, like I said, is not as sophisticated as toys from Generations, but it's also not as simple as toys from Armada. So let's start with the head, which is on a simple horizontal hinge, so it can move all the way around. And thanks to the transformation, we can also make it look down a bit if we want to. Now we have the arms, which I do think are the weakest part of the posability due to the transformation, so they can spin around, perhaps even without hitting the dump bed if everything's properly positioned. But they can't go to the side. Again, to the transformation, they can hinge back like that, but they can't lower to the side, which I know some people may be annoyed about. Instead, we have this ball-jointed elbow with a 90-degree rotation and free movement to the side, and a raising fist, again for the transformation, but this does have some uses in robot mode. Legs are way better. We can do nearly or even full split with this toy, and we can also kick forward. And the hips have some problems when it comes to the back because it's obscured by this connection piece for the combined mode. We can get it out of the way using its hinge, so now the kick back is somehow plausible, but I know not everyone will like it because this is sort of tampering with the main robot mode. And due to the combined mode, we also have two-way knees. So of course we can go 90 degrees the usual way, but we can also go 90 degrees the other way if we somehow want to make heavy load chicken walker. And we have some sort of posable feet thanks to the transformation. And it may seem like not much, but this does help stabilize this toy in some poses. Same with this one. And we can also deploy this as an extra support, but again it's mostly for the combined form. So like I said, it's not a super impressive possibility, but it's definitely far from the worst I've seen. When it comes to weapons, we again have the dump bed, which again has its bear trap mode, which is not all that practical when it's on the back, but again we can separate this using this peg, tab it to the fist, and I prefer to do it using the lower entry point, like so. And now we have this bear trap handheld weapon, and in this position this is much cooler, especially that heavy load can support its weight without any problems. And yes, this is one nice way to pose this guy with this weapon. What I like to do is to move his head to the viewer, bend his legs a bit, like so, and do something like that. This daring pose, sort of like, come and get me if you dare. And now it's time for robot mode comparisons, and like I mentioned in vehicle mode, in this form I can deliver. So let's start with two other very much yellow Deluxes. Here we have the Age of Extinction / Last Night Deluxe Bumblebee, and here we have the Robots in Disguise Mainline Prime Deluxe Bumblebee. And to break the color scheme, here's Heavy Load next to Deluxe Generations Wheeljack and Deluxe Generations Trail Cutter. And to go back to yellow, although without Transformers this time, here we have the Lego Throwbot Slicer Judge and Power Rangers Samurai Yellow Ranger. And my comparisons would not be complete without the common cola can, the €1 coin and $1 bill. So overall, I think Deluxe Class Autobot Heavy Load from Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001 of the build team is a simple yet fun and nostalgic toy. Both of its modes are simple yet have enough detail to make me feel satisfied. The transformation is quite pleasant whenever the combining parts do not go in the way. The posability is average, I'd say, but given what can be done with the bear trap weapon, I think it evens out, and the head design is really great and it aged very well. And also, many virtues of this toy come to light only when he's combined with his three teammates. So to show the functionality and capability of this toy in its fullest, we will have to wait for the combined mode, but I don't intend to make the wait all that long. But as a separate toy, I think it's definitely worth your time if you like construction vehicles or complete this series. And that's all for this video review. I will be back with the next one soon, and until then, stay well.